Today is a no plan day, and as a result, I asked chat what they wanted to do, and chat is still feeling horny. So, Kathy was the one who decided we should do something spicy and chose Tears of Themis. And so we're gonna do an SSS card. Beck chose the SSS card, and Beck chose Luke because he is going through his furry phase. And I'm just calling out my chat on YouTube. Sorry guys, but that's why we're doing this. I need to give context, okay? So welcome in. We're about to begin Light of Life and Love. That's a lot of L's, but I guess this is Luke and he takes L's. It's okay. I appreciate the alliteration. I do appreciate the alliteration. I have no idea what the story is going to be about other than it is their anniversary story and they're moving in together. Listen, I'm not sorry. Lycon left a huge furry impression with his paw. Yeah. Cappy trying to say he say so when he selected the spiciest game option today. Luke always takes all the L's. He does. He took all the L's and he put them in his title. All right, here we go. We're at Rosa's parents' home. We still haven't met Rosa's parents. Like, has she been abandoned? Why is the UI graph of this small light bulb a curve rather than a straight line passing through the origin? This is my face right now. On this scorching summer day, even though the air conditioner is on, the heat and humidity are ever present. Looking at the answers Luke wrote at the back, such as non-linear resistor, several familiar but impossible to understand words make Rosa's head spin. As its name suggests, this high school experimental physics handbook isn't much to look at. She can't help but shift her gaze elsewhere, and a box on the shelf catches her attention. That's placed pretty high. It must be important. She tentatively brushes her fingertips against the box, but she can only reach the edge no matter how much she stretches. Eh? I can't believe this. She stands up on her tiptoes again. Just as her fingers are about to touch the box, a hand grabs them.
가만히 있어봐. 이거 맞아?
Don't move. Is this right? Without her realizing it, Luke appears behind her. He leans closer to the shelf and lowers his head slightly.
내가 해줄게.
I'll do it for you. He easily grabs the box before handing it to her and takes a few steps off her side.
정리는 거의 다 했으니까 앉아서 좀 쉬어.
We're basically done tidying up. Take a seat and relax. Luke stopped being good at math. Yeah, it was physics, and it was a high school textbook.
굳은 일은 내가 할게. 넌 여기서 시키기만 해.
Math, I'm already turned off. I was laughing and I couldn't hear him. Hang on, give me a second.
굳은 일은 내가 할게. 넌 여기서 시키기만 해.
I'll do the dirty and tough jobs. You just sit here and supervise. Admittedly, most of the packing is done. Since she has no reason to refuse, she sits on the floor and leans against a pillow as she holds the box. Then I'll relax for a bit. I can look at what's inside this box in the meantime. Don't push yourself if you're tired, okay?
네, 알겠습니다. 우리 지휘관님.
Yes, I understand, Miss Supervisor. Luke positions 2 fingers at the side of his forehead, salutes her, then turns around. The warm yellow light gives him a golden glow as he continues packing. She can't help but think back to that evening a few months ago. Oh, flashback time. Mizu, please. Phew, I'm so full. After dinner, Rosa and Luke go for a walk to help digest the food. As they stroll into a residential area, they see several people walking together in groups of 2 or 3. Luke just likes to suffer. The sky is hazy as the evening breeze blows. The smell of fireworks in the window signals that the night is about to begin. This is so nice.
응? 왜 갑자기?
Why all of a sudden? Because the weather's great, this place is great, and the person with me is great too. Luke seemingly picks up on some key words and turns to look at her.
그럼 여기서 살아도 좋을 것 같아?
Then, do you think it would be great to live here? Eh? She can hear a smile in his voice, but the emotion in his gaze tells her he's being sincere.
꼭 이 동네에서 살자는 건 아닌데
I'm not saying that we have to live in this neighborhood,
우리가 같이 살 수 있는 우리만의 집이 있었으면 좋겠어.
but I want us to have a home that's just for the two of us. A few kids are laughing and playing around by the street. Some middle school students who just ended school are deciding where to play ball, and a young couple who seemingly came out of the subway station are holding hands. This doesn't seem like the setting for an important conversation like this, but Luke says it so naturally. It's like he's using these images to show her the lively future that lies beyond his suggestion.
우린 집이라는 공간이 참 다양했잖아. 우린 집이라는 공간이 참 다양했잖아.
I know we've had a variety of homes.
우리가 같이 자란 아버님, 어머님 집도 그렇고 내 골동품점에 또 네가 노력해서 마련한 집까지.
Your parents' house where we grew up together, my antiquities shop, and the loft where you work.
근데 거기엔 우리 말고 붙은 수식어가 많았어.
But none of them truly belong to the both of us. He leans down slightly, his eyes warm and radiant like a twilight sky.
나한테 새로운 집을 만들어 줄래?
Do you want to give me another home? He is like a puppy. Oh my god. We can live together, but you don't pick the furniture, Luke? Yeah. Luke, that isn't fair.
뭐가?
What is it? As the sun sets, Rose's and Luke's shadows grow longer and longer, not to mention closer. Why did he gasp like that? We haven't even started the spicy part yet.
엄마, 저기 봐요. 방금 저 누나가 형한테 뽀뽀한 것 같아요.
Mom, look, I think that lady just kissed that guy. Yeah, Luke, will you adopt me? Basically, that's what it sounded like, right? The child's parents stop him before he can finish his sentence. Luke rubs her slightly hot earlobe, unconcerned that his own ears are getting redder.
가자. 이 동네에 괜찮은 집이 있는지 찾아봐야지.
Let's go. We should see if there are any good houses for us in this neighborhood. Even though it's been quite a few months since that evening, she can't help but laugh every time she thinks about how Luke hastily left like he was trying to escape. It's worth mentioning that they did find a perfect house in the neighborhood that day. Jesus Christ, that day? Weren't they just hanging out? Wow. Rose is just like me. When she makes a decision, she goes all in. But I would have somebody stop me from making that decision that day. The renovations are almost complete, leaving only some furnishing and decoration to be done. Today, Rosa and Luke have come to her parents' house for some mementos to be used as decoration in their new home.
상자 안에 가져가고 싶은 물건 같은 거 있어?
Is there anything in this box that you want to bring to the new house? He is the golden retriever best boy. Damn, he moves quick, yeah. Let me see. They signed. I know! That same day. It's their first time having that conversation. They find several things inside the box as they open it. Judging by the style, it's clear that Luke is the owner. After all, he's the only one who would keep a pair of toy handcuffs in a box like this. What? It looks like he really treasures them. What? What? There's so much catching me off guard in this card right now. Artem would never, right? Artem would like compare housing prices between districts, look at the schools where they could raise their children. I'm sure he did do all of those things. There's hello, Lamia C. We're doing Tears of Themis right now. There are toy handcuffs in a box. I don't know why. Yes, toy handcuffs. Why? Marius, yeah, Marius already has too many houses. He doesn't. And I don't know. I assume Vin lives in a castle. Game, you cannot convince me that young Luke didn't have kinky thoughts about those handcuffs. He definitely did. About Rosa and those handcuffs, probably. And that's why he put them in the box. Because he felt guilty. His Catholic guilt. Yes, Artem would compare loan deals. He'd go with the inspectors, for sure. Definitely, Artem would be very responsible. Luke, meanwhile... Rosa takes them out and looks over at Luke, puzzled.
왜 그렇게 봐? 네가 사준 건데?
Did you guys hear that?
왜 그렇게 봐? 네가 사준 건데?
Why are you looking at me like that? Aren't you the one who bought those? Wow. When I say it in that tone, it sounds even worse. Rosa bought those. Oh God. He definitely imagined them with Rosa. Oh God. Agreed, Luke's insane degree of Catholic guilt would have stopped him from ever mentioning those thoughts. Rosa. Yeah. Amused, Luke takes them from her and taps her gently on the head. This is like when a dom gives a sub a collar. It is. Oh God, guys, what is happening? There's so many things catching me off guard, and we're like 12 minutes into recording.
기억 안 나? 거위 수사반장에 나왔던 거잖아.
Don't you remember? They're the same ones that Inspector Goose had. Who's Inspector Goose?
어렸을 때 그 애니메이션을 엄청 좋아해서 맨날 텔레비전 앞에 붙어 살았는 걸.
I loved watching that cartoon when I was little. I would sit in front of the TV every day to watch it. That does sound familiar. Everyone liked to imitate Inspector Goose to arrest the bad guys back then, right?
맞아.
That's right.
그때 친구들은 다 이 팔찌가 있었는데 나만 없었거든.
All of our friends had the same toy handcuffs back then, except for me.
그래서 네가 용돈을 모아서 사줬던 거야.
So you saved up your
그래놓고
allowance
나한테 들킬까봐 몰래 내 방에 갖다 놨었잖아.
and bought them for me. You worried I'd figure out it was you, so you stashed them in my room. She never told anyone about this, but Luke speaks with certainty, revealing the truth. How did you know? She gifted these to him when they were childhood friends. When Luke had just come to her house back then, he was still somewhat reserved. Maybe it was just in his nature because he was embarrassed about living in someone else's house. It's because we don't usually do... Are all Luke's cards usually like this? Oh my gosh. The whiplash that you must go through, Beck. Yes, Rosa gifted him cool kid handcuffs. Childhood friends where Luke lived with them in their attic. I mean, yeah. At least they gave him a room. I'm sure it wasn't a Cinderella situation. She could see that he wanted that toy, but said nothing to their parents. After she accidentally discovered this, she secretly bought a pair and gave them to him. But Luke didn't say a word about it afterwards, so she always assumed he didn't know the truth. But as she looks at Luke's calm expression, she realizes she was the one who didn't know the truth all along.
엄청 티났어.
Oh my God.
이걸 내 방에 숨긴 다음에 계속 문 옆에 붙어서 훔쳐보는데 모르려야 모를 수가 없지.
That's because you were so obvious about it. You kept peeking in through the doorway after you hid it in my room. there's no way I wouldn't have noticed. And that's because you didn't say anything about it. I had no choice but to resort to drastic measures. As she reflects on her thought process when she was little, she places the toy handcuffs into a moving box for the new house. Let's see what other treasures we can find. Oh, it's our old photo album. Naturally, Rosa and Luke have several photo albums. This one is particularly unique because Luke took all the pictures in it. Accurately speaking, Luke took all of these pictures when he first became interested in photography. As a result, the photos in the album include everything from assignments written on the blackboard after school one day to Rosa flashing peace signs at the school gate when the two of them started high school together. You were pretty good at photography back then.
그야 모델이 다 너였으니까.
About that, you were my model, like, the entire time. Oh, the entire time? Something like that. Basically, like, you were, yeah, all of my models were you. Oh my gosh. Wow. Rosa's dad to Rosa. Love is love. Grow up and be with whoever you want to be with, honey. We just want you to be happy. Yeah, that's sweet. Turning on your TV. You had a glass of milk and protein powder. Okay, that's something at least. Good job, Finn. Childhood friendship, Catholic guilt, and occasional blood. Does Luke know every time he says stuff like that with such a sincere expression? It makes me feel... She tries to hold back a smile and continues looking through the photo album. Oh no, I'm on TV. Huh? Why are these two pictures? I hope your mom doesn't come in. The two pictures were taken at the same time, or same place, during what appears to be when they were in high school. It's to the extent that the angles of the pictures aren't very different from one another. But considering so many similar aspects, the final results of the two pictures are completely different. The latter picture is inexplicably bright and vivid. All of the subsequent pictures were also taken in the same style. Oh, that's weird. If these two pictures weren't so similar, I wouldn't even be able to tell. Am I seeing things? Just as she's about to ask Luke, he comes over as if the two have a tacit connection. He then crouches down and sits in the tent. I don't... Okay. This is Tears of Themis. It is an otome game. God forbid your mom think you're dating a VTuber again. So then Luke got issues for years. Yeah. This tent was purchased when they were little, after all. It's a little hard to accommodate two adults to fit inside. Luke reaches out with... It honestly looks too small for even one adult. Wow. Luke reaches out with his long arms and pulls her in. She can only shift sideways and lie on his chest. She wiggles around a bit, but he doesn't move a muscle.
왜 그래? 불편해?
What's wrong? Are you uncomfortable? This is spicy game. This card is gonna be spicy. It's not always spicy though. This card is mostly a thriller game. Or this game is mostly a thriller mystery game. 2D Deep Space, yeah. Yeah, the trade-off, okay, so in Deep Space we get 3D models, very realistic. Probably shorter, more digestible stories, but the trade-off is, in this game, we get an MC who isn't a raccoon panda, or a trash panda, sorry, a raccoon trash panda, and stories with a lot of depth. So, honestly, I don't know which is better. Both are good. No, I'm not uncomfortable. There's just a lot of extra room. Why do we have to squeeze in so close?
아까 거위 수사반장 얘기가 나와서 그런지 옛날 생각이 좀 나더라고.
Because we were just talking about Inspector Goose, I suddenly remembered some things from the past. Yes, we get written stories, but not nipples.
우리 어렸을 땐 틈만 나면 이 텐트에서 온종일 나가지도 않고 같이 붙어 있었잖아.
When we were little, didn't we stay in this tent all day long together? Glued to each other? With him so close to her, she has to break away and create some distance to hear what he says. But it's unavoidable. The vibrations in his chest as he speaks and the shifts of his breath become provoking at this moment. Provoking? This is my distant second favorite boy out of 4. Yeah. Wait, second? I guess. He and Marius are on the same level. I would actually say Marius is higher at this point. All we know is Vin is last.
누가 잘 시간이 다 됐는데도 여기서 나가기 싫다고 억지로 날 끌고 가서는 같이 자자고 하더라니까.
Someone didn't even want to leave the tent to sleep, so she made me sleep in here with her. Aw, they cuddled in the tent. Marius and Lucas switched like in bed. How long ago was that? Yet Luke's teases allow her to relax despite the intimate close quarters, and she can't help feeling emotional. This is my favorite boy. Yes. He got the best drip? No. That's a lie. What do you mean poor Vin? Poor anyone who is in a relationship with Vin. Poor Rosa. Poor Vin's patience. We've changed a lot. There's no way both of us could sleep in this tent now.
그건 또 모르지?
I don't know about that. Luke smiles as he pushes her from her waist, causing her to immediately lose her balance. The next second, they are lying down on the pillow. Luke bends at the elbows and looks down at her casually from above. Everything happens so fast. She doesn't have any time to react before he completely overtakes her. What, is he chasing her? Luke consistently has the ugliest birthday outfits.
아직은 둘이서 잘 수 있겠는데?
Oh, wow. It looks like there's still enough room for us to sleep in here together. The tent isn't closed, but Luke dominates most of her vision thanks to the position he's in. Even the light can't get in. What is going on with these terms? Overtake and dominate. What is happening here? Yeah, they're fulfilling Luke's childhood fantasies. All boundaries blur in this dim, obscure setting. Rosa looks at Luke and a sense of familiarity rises in her heart. You know what I don't understand? Is this a Chinese prose thing? But they use expressions like rise up in their heart or overtake their heart or something like that a lot. And I'm like, it sounds stupid. I'm sorry. Maybe it's very common in Chinese prose or something, but it sounds really dumb in English. And I'm getting tired of it. The only time Luke dominates anything is her vision. Oh my god. This isn't the first time she's found herself alone with him in such an ambiguous situation with minimal light. That's a weird way to describe that. An ambiguous situation with minimal light. What? Okay. Here's a better way to write the sentence, right? This isn't the first time that she's found herself tangled up with Luke in the dark. Or something like that. Anything like that would have been better than whatever this is. Oh my god. This purple prose. A lot of words about emotions and love arts. They can't say horny. Are you using your combat skills for this kind of thing?
이런 데가 어떤 데인데?
What kind of thing is this? Why does he talk like this? Oh my god. Oh, I didn't expect this. I just was too lazy to change the language setting. But I can't have Luke whispering in my ear like this. Okay, Luke might be trying to weasel his way back up into second. He might be trying to weasel his way back up into second place.
이런 데가 어떤 데인데?
Wow. I'm not okay. Is he using his combat skills to win at cuddles? He might be. Switch to Chinese. Why?
난 그냥 행동으로 네 가설을 검증해 볼까 한 거지.
He's way too good at teasing. He's way too good at teasing. I was just testing your theories through my actions. Okay. I probably can't find any way to retort since he's subduing me right now. Subduing her? Jesus Christ. No. I'm complaining, but I am enjoying. I'm complaining, but I'm enjoying. Kazuyuki. Oh god, Kazuyuki. How would he do these lines? Why can't I be that good? Just practice, man. Practice your whispering voice. Did the writers open up the DS thesaurus for this one? I guess so. What is with this vocabulary? Luke takes her hand and rubs it playfully for a moment. It's as if it isn't enough, he interlaces his fingers with hers. This close to one another, any movement he makes causes her heart to skip a beat. She feels like she's completely enveloped by his scent.
그나저나 내가 말을 좀 일찍 꺼낸 것 같네.
But I think I spoke too soon. Oh my god. He doesn't move any closer, but his voice is low.
거위 수사반장보다는 지금 이 자세가 더 많은 걸 떠올리게 하거든.
Other than Inspector Goose, this move reminds me of something else. Oh my god. What? I'm sorry, I can't. He reveals a meaningful smile upon seeing her confused expression.
기억 안 나?
You don't remember?
하필 이럴 때 기억을 못하면 모르는 척하는 것 같잖아.
If your memory happens to fail you at a time like this, then you must be playing dumb. Okay. Oh my god, is he gonna whisper the entire time? He shakes his head in resignation, his eyes sparkling.
어렸을 때 네가 굳이 여기서 자겠다고 해놓고는 또 무섭다면서 날 억지로 끌고 왔잖아.
You insisted on sleeping in here when we were little with me because you were scared.
그래서 결국 멀쩡한 침대 두고 여기서 이불 깔고 잤다고.
I couldn't sleep in my bed, so I had to make a bed on the floor here.
지금이야 오히려 여기서 같이 자고 싶은 적이지?
Now I... Hang on.
지금이야 오히려 여기서 같이 자고 싶은 적이지?
Now I'm more than happy to sleep in here with you. I don't know how to translate the sentence in Korean. My brain doesn't want to do it, so...
네가 무섭다면 말이야.
Oh my god. That is if you're scared. Oh my gosh. This is our ASMR chat. Clearly! Jesus Christ.
네가 무섭다면 말이야.
What? Why is he so good at this? Another hidden talent, you guys. This is like TCN Artem, except less moaning. We can't sleep in here. I'll get a leg cramp. The rough calluses on Luke's fingertips follow his teasing tone, gliding over her fingers one by one like grains of sun-baked sand on a beach. Luke, dude, where's one section? I know. What is he gonna do by the time we get to the... Oh my gosh. Rosa can't ignore the warm, rough sensation. In fact, she's unable to stop herself from indulging in it. Rosa! I wasn't scared. I was worried that you were scared to be alone at night when you first came to our house. So I just made up an excuse.
아, 그랬구나.
Ah, so that's what it was. Oh my god. Why do you look totally unconvinced?
왜냐하면 네가 이 텐트 사달라고 아버님, 어머님을 엄청 졸랐던 걸로 기억하거든.
Because I remember you begging your mom and dad for a long time before they bought you this tent. I did that because
나도 알아. 네가 내 생각해서 졸랐던 거.
I already know. You asked your mom and dad to buy it for me. Oh, that's sweet. This is very sweet. She thought she'd succeeded in ending this conversation, but to Luke, this is just another toy handcuff story. You knew, but you still said all that. Luke gently grabs the wrist of her hand that she's waving around angrily. Wait, she's waving her wrist angrily? His expression seems to say, I knew, but I wanted to hear you say it yourself.
내가 적응 못하고 혼자 못 잘까 봐 걱정해서 두 분한테 이 텐트 사달라고 한 거 알아?
I know that it was because you were worried everything would feel unfamiliar and that I'd be scared to sleep here alone.
처음 그 가장 힘든 시기를 옆에서 함께 해주고 싶었겠지.
It was a way for you to get close to me at the beginning. How did you know everything? Oh, that's so sweet. Rose is such a considerate child, right? Mom, Dad, I want to buy Luke and Omega Nest tent. What was Rosa reading when she was young, right?
뭐 빤히 보일 정도로 나한테 잘해줘서 그런 게 아닐까?
Maybe it's because you're just too good to me. Oh my god. Wow. They're really cute, but he has got to stop speaking in this voice. Yeah, that's true. We do get a lot of Rosa backstory. Maybe I should do Luke cards more often. Luke's eyes are moist as if something lustrous is shining within them. That doesn't make sense, but sure. Then why didn't you ask me?
네가 네 자존심을 지켜주고 있는데 나도 지켜줘야지.
You were protecting my pride back then, so I should protect yours too.
그때 넌 내가 모르길 바랐으니까 난 모르는 거야.
If you didn't want me to know it, then I didn't know it. He's always been like this, using the best possible way he can come up with to protect her. Rosa was deep on AO3. Yeah, at like 6 years old. Somehow the hand she placed on his shoulder somehow loses... Okay, they use somehow twice. The hand she placed on his shoulder somehow loses its strength and it gently leaves or gives way for her to embrace Luke.
우리 이 텐트도 가져갈까? 가끔 이 안에서 쉬어도 좋을 것 같아.
Should we take this tent with us? It might be nice to relax in here. Is there a good place for it in the new house? Her breathing is still shaky. When she hears Luke speaking so sincerely, she immediately sits up to look at him.
너
Oh my god. Luke, calm down.
너
She just sat up. Like, she sat up on top of him. What's happening? It seems like Luke wasn't expecting this move from her. He shirks away slightly and stops her movement with ease.
그냥 농담한 건데 반응을 보니까 진지하게 고민해봐야겠네.
I was just joking, but judging from your reaction, I'm gonna have to seriously start thinking about it. What reaction? You're the one who's reacting. Jesus. She initially wants to keep fighting back, but she suddenly catches a glimpse of the two pictures she found strange before out of the corner of her eye. The tent is blocking most of the light, and the two pictures are overlapping, making it easier to ignore the influence of elements other than the subject of the photos. Due to the similarity in the compositions, man, this is like super technical all of a sudden, she finds it hard to ignore or explain away the large differences in photography style between the two.
왜 그래? 이
What's
사진에
wrong?
무슨 문제라도 있어?
Is there something wrong with these pictures? Did you take these pictures?
그치?
Yeah? Luke helps her up, picks up the two pictures and looks at them. It's like he doesn't notice anything weird whatsoever.
이건 우리 고등학교 1학년 때 소풍 가서 찍은 거고, 이건 나중에 네가 거길 다시 가고 싶다고 했을 때 가서 찍은 거야.
I took this one for you during a field trip our freshman year of high school. I took this one later when you wanted to go back to the same place. Huh. As Luke explains the origin of the two pictures in detail, the doubt in her heart grows ever stronger. Since they were taken so soon after one another, there's absolutely no way Luke, as a beginner photographer, completely changed his style in the meantime. Yeah, I'm clearly in both of them, and they were taken at the same place. Even my pose didn't change much, but if you look at this one, the style is really different from the other one. Isn't that weird?
너무 다르다고?
Is it really that different? Luke looks at the two pictures. After remaining silent for a few seconds, he smiles with apparent understanding. Do you know why? He looks at her, his expression making her face burn up for some reason.
왜 그런지 모르겠어?
You don't know why? He answers her question with another question, and it only serves to confuse her even more. Should I be able to tell by looking? This confusing back and forth reveals one detail. This change in style might have something to do with her, but she still has no idea.
오늘은 이미 여러 번 힌트를 줬으니까 이번엔 스스로 답을 찾아보는 게 어때?
I've already given you a lot of hints today. Why don't you try figuring out the answer for yourself this time? The phone lying nearby begins vibrating continuously, interrupting the question she's about to ask.
비 오려나 봐.
It's going to rain. It's a thunderstorm warning from the Stellis government. It says that a harsh thunderstorm is going to hit, making it unsuitable to go out. Oh, are they going to spend all day inside? As if it's some kind of signal, Luke doesn't keep talking. He just looks at her like he's searching for something. I don't think there's a good place for this tent in our new house right now. Let's stay here today.
그래, 그러자.
Okay, let's do
사실
that.
조금 무서웠거든. 그러니까 나 잠들 때까지 어디 가지 말고 옆에 있어줘야 해.
That's really cute. I'm actually a little scared, so you can't go anywhere until I fall asleep and you have to stay with me.
그래, 그러자. 사실 조금 무서웠거든. 그러니까 나 잠들 때까지 어디 가지 말고 옆에 있어줘야 해.
That's so cute. That's actually really cute. Such a good performance. My God. Yeah, she doesn't like storms. She sets aside all the doubts she has about moving, renovating, or the strange photography styles for now. At this moment, she decides to stay here with him until the storm passes. I guess she didn't like storms when she was little. The heavy rain finally stops at midnight, washing away the scorching heat of so many days before. Rosa and Luke wake up early and race over to the new house, ready to start decorating with the stuff she brought from her parents' house. But there's still a lot of tidying up to do, and the things on the storage shelves are even more cluttered and disorganized. It takes her a while just to sort through the top shelf. I'll put the marbles on the middle shelf. Oh my gosh, this one has marbles too! Why do they have so many marbles? Where did these marbles come from? Why do they have marbles? What are they gonna do with marbles? Just as she reaches out to put something on the shelf, she hears a muffled sound from next to her foot as if something is knocked down. A medicine bottle with no label rolls a few times and stops against the shelf. She bends down to pick it up. It's really easy for this to get knocked down if it's just left here. Since Operation Boer went public, Aaron Ishmir has been researching the medicine Luke took and constantly making adjustments to the ratio of ingredients. Oh, right! Wait. Is this something I need to know about? Like the story? Because I didn't do the latest story. The new house they impulse bought in one afternoon. I know, right? They're crazy. Luke is a puppy and likes shiny things. I hope he doesn't put the marbles in his mouth. After a long time and several iterations, the new recently developed medicine is already a vast improvement and is more stable in terms of efficacy. While there's no guarantee this new medicine is free of side effects, Luke's condition has been getting better. and better since he started taking it. The pain and suffering, the confessions and persistence she and Luke experienced before seemed to have already become distant memories. Compared to when he was purposefully hiding it from me, now he's finally... She remembers him covering her eyes on that rainy night, not letting her see his flustered expression. Before he confessed, he wrote a letter explaining the entire story and pleading for her forgiveness. Do I remember this? I do think I remember this. Of course, there was also the time when he hid the ring box, suffering and refusing to face his true feelings. Oh my god. He's so dramatic! I think this is why I was like, okay, I'm done with Luke. This is confirmation that Kathy lost the bet, yes. Although Kathy lost the bet anyway, because he definitely didn't die. The bet where, like, you said that Luke would die. Luke, why is your anti-anime cancer drug in an unmarked bottle? I know, right? The past is hazy, like a sudden gale blowing through her heart and causing her thoughts to ripple once again. But
무슨 생각해?
what are you thinking about? Damn you, Luke, for not dying. Luke waves his hand in front of her eyes. Her tumultuous thoughts are suddenly reined in. She blinks a few times, wanting to laugh. Exactly, what was she thinking about? That's true, they haven't been emo yet. That's good though, you know, because first and second anniversary, I'm sure he was super dramatic. All of those things are in the past. Now, Rosa and Luke are honest with each other. There are no more secrets. Instead of worrying about the undetermined conclusion to her story, or their story, she cares more about experiencing the unique life that belongs to herself and Luke alone. It's nothing. I just feel like there's so much stuff. I don't even know where to start. Thinking about handcuffs, Rosa. He looks around, his gaze passing over the medicine bottle without a second glance.
그럼 같이 천천히 해보자.
Then let's do it slowly. Together. Okay. You don't remember the second anniversary? I remember the second anniversary. Because it was the jam bottle. This is the third anniversary, right? Yeah. Second anniversary was proposal. Luke softly takes her hand in his, and she feels a firm strength from his warm palm. Even though she didn't say anything, her thoughts are loud and clear to him.
이제 새로운 삶이 시작된 거라 아무래도 준비할 게 많을 거야.
Our new life is about to begin after all. There's a lot of stuff to take care of, right? Luke brought Rosa to his grave, which he pre-bought, and then they ate orange jam off Luke's face and chest. I know. That's... Luke, please. He's so ridiculous. His smiling eyes act as a mirror, faithfully reflecting all of the brand new changes. Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day. I might revisit like this earlier part, like the part 1 or part 2 with Kazuyuki's voice later. I just want to like hear how he decided to perform it and if he decided to go this like WoW route. At least no one has used Rosa as a towel yet. Artem could never disrespect her like that. Rosa and Luke open up the moving boxes. I could see Marius kind of doing that though. Rosa brought and sorts through them one by one.
여기 가져온 앨범들은 어떻게 할까?
What should we do with the photo albums we brought back? You have faith that Kazuyuki moaned like a champ. But why was he even moaning? I haven't thought about it yet. Let's see if we can pick out some pictures and make a photo wall.
여기서 고르자고? 그러기엔 네가 가져온 게 한두 권이 아닌데?
Pick out some photos here? But you brought back so many. Luke raises his brows and points at the table somewhat dramatically in response to her. There are 4 or 5 photo albums lying on the table. Other than the one Luke photographed himself, the others are filled with pictures their parents took of the two of them as they grew up. On one hand, it would be really hard to choose which one to use. I love all of the pictures in here, so I wanted to bring them here and take my time looking through them. But on the other hand, following her words, Luke's gaze lingers on the photo album filled with pictures he photographed, and he turns around to look at her in resignation.
그래서 아직도 그 문제로 고민인 거야?
So you're still thinking about the answer to that question? Yes, you said it had something to do with me. Who wouldn't be curious about that? Anyway, I'm going to organize everything while I look for the answer in the meantime. Seeing her can-do attitude, Luke shakes his head helplessly. He then stands up and leans against the table, casually flipping open a photo album. The picture he turns to is himself at the high school opening ceremony. He's wearing his school uniform and his smile is brighter than the sun. Feeling her gaze, he turns to look at her. Or she turns... Yeah, no, he turns to look at her. Oh my gosh, my pronouns were right. For a moment, it's like the Luke who only just started high school years ago is catching a glimpse of her in the future. Suddenly, an idea pops into her head. Luke, I know what to do with these pictures. Okay.
여기를 포토월로 꾸미려고?
Marius likes to sub for Rosa too. Everyone likes to sub for Rosa. She is the ultimate dom. Although I guess like with Artem, he tends to be more aggressive once they get a bit more intimate. You'll do the March story tomorrow. Nice. Are you thinking of putting a photo wall here? There's a large stretch of wall at the corner of the stairs. Before, Rosa and Luke could never figure out what to do with it. Yeah, we can use the pictures from when we were little as clues, and then arrange them to show how we grew up together over the years.
계단을 따라서 아이에서 학생이 되고 가족에서 사랑하는 사람이 되는 이야기를 보게 되는 거네. 확실히 의미는 있을 것 같아.
Oh, so when we walk up the stairs, we would be showing off ourselves as we went from kids to students to family to partners. That would be really meaningful. Oh, that's sweet.
또 여긴 공간이 넓어서 나이가 들어도 놓을 자리는 충분해.
Artem is the most dom, indeed. There's so much space here. We can still fit more even after we get old. Yeah, that's a very cute idea. And this is why Rosa decorates and not Luke. Luke expands on her proposal with just a few simple words, and it's even more creative than her original idea. I don't know about that. Rosa, give yourself more credit. Everyone that visits them will think you were kissing cousins. And Beck ruined it. Luke slept on a wooden pallet on the floor. Oh, God. Alright, then we should start with a picture from the first day you came to our house. The young Luke in the photo is leaning against her parents' legs, hesitantly looking at the girl's hands reaching out to him. The older Luke takes the picture from the girl's hands. Do they have... Okay, they brought pictures, but are these pictures already framed? Because if not, they're gonna need to frame them before they set them up along the stairwell, right? Just saying. Because these all came from an album, no? Back then, he was even hesitant to hold her hands, but now he's about to start a family with her. And they just had this idea, so I don't think they have the frames. This is my Artem brain again. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. From ignorance to youth, despite the changing seasons and the flow of time, the people in the pictures never change. As the two slowly fill up the entire photo wall, it acts as a timeline for their life, documenting every single trace that time has washed away. Luke gets out Scotch tape and just tapes him directly to the wall. No! Oh. Oh. Did we take any pictures together before you went to the Capitol? Why can't I find any? I laughed too much and now I'm wheezy. Oh my god. Rosa and Luke obviously took several pictures before that, but for some reason she can't find any pictures of the two of them in high school. Just as she gives up hope, she opens the photo album that Luke photographed and continues from the page she stopped last night.
잠깐.
Wait! Just as she's about to flip to the next page, Luke races down the ladder, still holding onto the empty frames he hadn't had time to hang up. Why do they have these frames if they didn't have this idea? Okay, one moment. I'm gonna get myself something to drink. The frames came with the house. The realtor was so tickled by their spot on purchase, he gave them 50 Costco photo frames. I think Beck's trying to kill me. This is why Beck's commentaries are needed for these stories, but also why they are not needed, because they are part of the reason it takes me so long. Because I'm dying laughing. But why? Do you know what I mean? Like, when the writers were writing the story, it wouldn't have been hard to have been like, oh, eventually they found a place. You know, like, why did the writers just decide they found a place that day? Who thought that was romantic? Like, they just needed one line. Why were they? Yeah, like, they just... It wouldn't have been hard. Yeah, one brief trip to the Walmart for picture frames later. I know, there are just so many... Like... I don't know if there was like a word limit or something, but some of these decisions... Also, some of this, I'm like, did anybody proofread this? Did anybody go back just to be like, oh, hey, that continuity doesn't make much sense? You know, like... Or... It's okay. Hey, this looks like a picture of us together. She only catches a quick glimpse of the two people in school uniforms in the picture before Luke quickly snatches the picture away.
이건 아니야.
Not this one. What? Not this one? What? Also, this Luke is doing a... Man, guys, I think we have been sleeping on Korean Luke.
잠깐. 이건 아니야.
He's so good. 1 month of intense house searching later isn't too many words. Right? He scrambles to hide his hands behind his back. This series of actions leaves his cheek slightly red and his breathing quickens. You know, a reaction like that and acting all secretive is only gonna make me more curious. She slowly stands up, moving closer to Luke with every step she takes. I mean, that is the definition of moving closer. What?
나같이 산전수전 다 겪은 특수요원한테서 물건 뺏기는 불가능하다는 건 너도 잘 알 텐데.
Man leapt down the stairs for this, right? He's such... We have been sleeping on Korean Luke's voice acting. Man. Even the way he delivered that line was actually really funny because, like, he like... How do I describe it? It's like quick paced and playful, like, but like with a pretend professional air, right? He's so funny. She walked close to him, which coincidentally brought her closer to him. He was trying to meet the character limit energy. Yeah. Hang on.
나같이 산전수전 다 겪은 특수요원한테서 물건 뺏기는 불가능하다는 건 너도 잘 알 텐데.
Yeah, this is very funny. Then you must know it's impossible to steal things from an experienced agent like me. Oh my gosh. Man. I am really enjoying this performance. I did not realize Korean Luke was so fun. Of course it's hard to steal stuff from an agent, but what about a childhood sweetheart?
하지 마. 계단은 위험해.
Stop it. It's dangerous on these stairs. Or the stairs are dangerous, I guess. She stands up on her tiptoes to get a better look at the picture, but Luke flips around naturally to hide the picture with his body. He's fast, but his escape route is obvious. She immediately grabs the hem of his shirt. As she takes a step forward, he takes a step back. It's like some sort of ridiculous dance. This whole scene is ridiculous. What is it? Give me a look, okay? Just one look. Luke's cards are a lot more fun when he's not angsting. Yeah, it's cute. And the thing is, that's what I want from my childhood friend, like stories in a way, right? I say, even though Zayn is also super angsty. It's not his fault though, it's the situations, right? Okay, here's the difference between Luke and Zayn. All right? Zayn tries to keep up the banter, right? And most of the time, the angst comes from the outside situations, right? Like the stories just keep putting him in these situations, which I think the fault of the writers. Luke, on the other hand, makes his own angst. Like, Luke, just talk to the girl. But he's an idiot. You could say the writers gave him anime cancer. That is true. But buying his own grave and showing it to her is a little bit dramatic. Is it not? Luke is a bottom, Zayn super isn't. Yes, that's true. That is another point. Luke is a bottom and Zayn isn't. Oh.
그냥 잘못 들어간 사진이야. 딱히 특별한 건 없어.
It's just a picture that I put in there by mistake. It's nothing special. He tucks the hand holding the picture behind his back, somewhat embarrassed. It's obviously something special since you're trying so hard to hide it. She tugs on his shirt with some force and reaches out to Luke with her other hand. Just as her fingers brush against the picture, her foot slips. As it turns out, they were both right.
조심해.
Careful. Ah! That's what this picture is. I totally forgot that this was the other picture. I only remembered Luke being handcuffed. Sorry. Oh. Luke is way less on the spectrum, but way more Catholic guilt. I don't know if that balances. I don't know if those two things are relatable, but yeah, maybe that's why I prefer Artem. Or not Artem. Well, I do prefer Artem, but I mean maybe that's why I prefer Zayn, because being on the spectrum is way better for me to deal with than Catholic guilt. So look how the bruised rib in this scene got it. Okay. The world turns upside down in an instant, and Luke's hold on her waist grows tighter and tighter. Rosa and Luke lose their balance and fall down the stairs together as a result. How romantic.
괜찮아?
Are you okay? Wait, did they fall down or up the stairs? This looks like they're at the top of the stairs. Does it not? You also lost your damn mind at the cuffs image. You're curious how they end. Yeah, let's see. I'm okay. Taking advantage of the close distance between herself and Luke, she gets a clear look at the picture. I'm falling down the stairs for you. No. Okay, they're on the floor. Okay. Okay. Maybe I just don't remember what anything looks like right now. I need a side view. Someone needs to show me the side view of this. It's a picture of hers and Luke's classroom in high school. She's lying on the desk and appears to be sleeping. Luke seems to have quietly snuck over into the frame. Wait, so someone else took this picture? Who the hell was taking this picture? With his warm smile and concealed yet implicit intentions. What? The young boy in the photo leaves a mark on both time and space without her knowledge. If she hadn't discovered this picture, it never would have existed. What? No, the picture exists. Is this a tree in the forest situation? If she hadn't discovered this picture, it never would have existed. That doesn't make sense. The picture exists, whether or not she knew about it, okay? That's how life works. Just like her reasons for doing the shit for him earlier existed, whether or not he knew about it. Okay. This is a stupid sentence. I'm sorry. This is dumb. Show me your dirty secrets. Do you have a secret album somewhere of young Rosa? He probably does. When did you take that picture? But she... Did he take the picture of himself with her? I'm so confused.
들켰네.
I'm caught. Her hand reaching for the picture still hangs suspended in the air, while Luke's heartbeat is clear and strong under her other palm. Ooh. Nice. That's exactly what the picture is showing. Only now does she realize how suggestive and terrible the position that she and Luke are in is. Terrible. Even so, she still wants to know the answer. From the sudden change of his photography style to him going to such lengths to hide this picture from her, paired with his previous hint. He's creating his own problems. Like, was it a selfie? I guess so. I guess it must have been a selfie with her, but sleeping? That's weird. That's a little weird. That's a little weird, right? It's weird to take selfies of yourself next to an unconscious girl. I'm just saying. Just saying. She gets even closer, hoping to grab the picture, but Luke straightens up slightly to block her line of sight.
이제 답을 알았구나.
Now you know everything, right? He looks at her, his gaze scorching, not hiding his affection in the least. That sounds terrifying. I hate whenever... Okay, this is how much I don't... Luke, did you commission it? That's even weirder. Okay, so, okay. They do this with every male character, and I absolutely hate it. And because this is how much I hate eye contact. Even reading a sentence about someone's scorching gaze sets me off. Like, I really do not like even the idea of eye contact.
난 사진 찍는 게 좋아. 가장 큰 이유는
Same? Yay! I'm glad you feel the same. I like photography, and a very important reason for that is
카메라는 말보다 솔직하고 객관적이거든. 내가 널 바라보는 눈빛을 숨길 순 있어도 내 감정은 조금도 숨길 수 없게 만들어.
the camera is always honest and objective. It conceals my vision of you, and it also makes my feelings invisible.
내 스타일이 바뀌었다고 생각한 이유는 아마
The style change that you noticed is probably because
널 좋아하는 마음이 카메라에 조금씩 스며들면서 사진에 그대로 담긴 게 보인 걸 거야.
my fondness for you trickled out from the lens bit by bit into every photo I took of you. Oh, that's sweet. That's really sweet. Eye contact, ew, right? No, because like, how weird did he get? Because why else is he being this scorpion? I know! What other pictures does he have of her? Does he have pictures of his stepsis coming out of the shower? Oh no, please.
너도 알다시피 그때 매번 너한테 고백할 타이밍을 놓쳤었어.
As you know, I missed my chance to confess to you many times.
떠날 때가 돼서야 내 운명을 받아들였어. 그래서 몰래 이 사진을 찍은 거고 수도로 가져가고 싶었거든.
I accepted reality only when I was about to leave. So I secretly took this picture and brought it with me to the capital. Okay. It is creepy. Luke, follow-up question. How many pics did you take of her stepsister? She knows just how many missed opportunities there were between them, but when he says this, her heart can't help but quiver. Then again, why didn't you take this picture with you? Sunlight shines through Luke's hair, finally illuminating his eyes after what feels like an eternity.
이렇게 예리한 사람이 그땐 왜 아무것도 몰랐대?
If you were such a perceptive person, then why couldn't you notice anything before? Or why didn't you know anything before? Sorry, why didn't you know anything before? I really like his tone. Like, his tone is like very sweetly playful. Yeah, it's very childhood, like it's very like the comfort of a childhood friend, you know? I really like it. He took it with him, but then he snuck back at some point and put it back. That is weird. Yeah. Luke whimpering is some of the best shit. It's very good. Maybe it's because we're closer now. As she says this, she moves closer to Luke once again in an effort to take the picture. Luke recognizes her intention. He puts down the picture, places his hand on hers, then holds it gently. In the next instant, she turns sideways. Her back is pressed against the railing, and Luke's hand rests between her spine and the guard. And then he used his combat skills to subdue her. Jesus Christ, Luke! You're not supposed to do that to civilians, okay? I'm pretty sure. Did you see that? Okay, I'll read it again. In the next scene, she is turned sideways. Her back is pressed against the railing, and Luke's hands rest between her spine and the guardrails. He's using his combat training. Oh. She wants to push Luke away, but he uses one hand to stop her, trapping both of her arms behind her back with ease. Yeah, he's pinning her. See? She's... Oh my god. In a sense, he is using his own hands as a rope to tie her hands to the railing.
이게 더 가까운 것 같은데?
I think we're even closer now. So close to one another, his breath caresses her cheek like a kiss, and the sensation vanishes in an instant. The bell rang. She is tapping out. Just as he's about to say something, the doorbell rings a millisecond faster. Since when is Luke allowed to be smooth? The scented candle you bought to make the house smell nice is here. I'll get the door. As she feels Luke relax his hold on her, she immediately leaps up and flees from the scene without so much as a second glance. Oh my god. This is wild, you guys. The setting sun follows the path of the flying birds, weaving through dusky clouds that stretch over the horizon. The twilight is hazy in the aftermath of the sunset. The photo wall is finally complete. Rosa brings over the cold drinks and fruit she prepared. Great work. Come cool down for a bit. The air conditioner near the stairs doesn't work very well, causing Luke to sweat quite a bit after working hard there all afternoon. He unbuttons his shirt and takes off the key that hangs around his neck. He then takes the towel in her hand and lifts up his t-shirt. What are you doing? Me too, Rosa. Me too.
땀 닦으려고.
Wiping away my sweat. That towel is ice cold. You can't just wipe it on your stomach. Let me help you. Oh. What were you saying about Rosa not being a towel? Oh, I can't breathe. You guys, I can't breathe. Stop, they're so Asian. Before he can react, she hands Luke the plate full of fruit, grabs a towel, and helps him wipe away his perspiration. Maybe because the towel is so much colder than his body temperature, Luke shudders the moment it comes into contact with his back. Yeah, okay. She is using the towel still. What was that sound? Is it too cold?
괜찮아.
Why is he blushing? The way his body is reacting and what he's saying are worlds apart. She's unsure if it's due to nerves or something else, but his muscles gradually begin to tighten, forming beautiful lines on his body. Okay. Luke body admiration time. Water droplets slide down from where she wipes the towel, creating wet trails that eventually disappear into the curve of his waist. Why do I feel like you're still sweating? Do you still feel hot? Yeah, I don't know what beautiful line. There's a lot of purple prose in here, and it doesn't make sense. She finally wipes his back, and as soon as she moves the towel to his chest, he covers it with his hand. As a matter of fact, Luke is very hot. Even the palm of his hand is concerningly searing, as if he's hiding another heart within. What does that mean? What does that mean, you guys? Okay, I'm getting whiplash. Some of these lines are so good and cute and sweet, and then some of these lines are, what does this mean?
수건도 아까보단 따뜻해졌으니까 이제 내가 할게.
The towel has gotten warmer than before, so I'll do it now. Rosa quickly helps him cool off, take off his shirt. Some of those lines are crochet flippectomy hooks. Yes, exactly. Oh, that was funny. I know that like somebody who doesn't like even wonder like about that is just gonna be like trying to search that up. It's much easier for me to do it for you. Don't move. Oh, maybe a new event started. He leans up. Oh, it is 11. I think a new event started. He leans up against the photo wall, raising his head slightly. His Adam's apple moves up and down, but he doesn't say a word. Hey, why didn't you hang that picture you took up on the wall? She glances over at the photo wall and realizes that Luke didn't hang out the picture the two of them were scrambling for before.
아, 너무 대충 찍어서 다른 사진들이랑 스타일이 잘 안 어울리겠더라고.
I took that photo too casually. It doesn't really match the rest in terms of style. Okay, so it was a selfie. It was a selfie. Oh yeah, because it's a Tanabata. Yeah, okay, that makes sense then. That's true, but I still really like that picture. Wiping the front is always more difficult than wiping the back. Not to mention Luke has seemed somewhat stiff this entire time. Why is wiping the front more difficult than wiping the back? I don't understand. Seeing him like this, she can't resist the urge to tease him. Oh, you didn't answer my question yet. Why didn't you take that picture with you to the capital? This time, she walks towards him exceptionally steadily. Huh? Unbothered by any unexpected occurrences that might interrupt their conversation.
깜빡했어.
Really? He said he forgot. Oh, because of the sensitive non-nipples? Ah. Luke avoids her gaze, making it clear as day that he's not telling the truth. Even so, she has no idea why he'd want to hide the real reason, so she has no choice but to covertly increase her force as she wipes. What is happening? Okay, I'm gonna click. I think we're gonna hear some whimpering. Oh my gosh.
뭐야? 땀을 닦고 싶다는 거야? 아니면
Are you trying to wipe away my sweat, or... As she follows the contours of his muscles, she's about to move down further when Luke stops her hand through the fabric of his t-shirt. Huh?
나 일단 샤워 좀 하고 올게.
I'm gonna take a shower first and come back. He's gotta take a shower. He rushes straight to the bathroom, and in the end, she still doesn't get an answer. Even so, she catches a glimpse of his ears looking particularly red in the sunlight. It makes Luke look like a shy puppy. Girl not in front of Peanut. Missy Invasion plays. I know, right? Even though he's hiding a wagging tail, his alert ears betray his true feelings. Wow, they really wrote that. After tidying up, canonical puppy coding, yeah, not even hidden. After tidying up everything on the stairs, Rosa and Luke head back to the bedroom after washing up. Furry arrow. I'm imagining you as that Elmo meme with its arms in the air right now, proclaiming that. That's right. I was sorting through those boxes before. Ugh. I totally forgot about it because of the photo wall. Oh my gosh, how long did she forget? Looking over the boxes in the bedroom, she remembers her original goal today was to put away the stuff that she brought from her parents' house. I guess this is just puppy play, but whatever. It's close enough. It's close enough. Maybe they can get one of those tail butt plugs. Everything else that happened afterward was completely unexpected.
아직 이른 시간이라 지금 시작하면 자기 전까지 어느 정도 끝낼 수 있을 거야.
It's still pretty early. We should be able to organize it all before bed. Then let's start with all your old stuff we brought back. The organizing is going smoothly until she chances upon the toy handcuffs she brought there yesterday. She can't help but feel somewhat puzzled. Would it be weird to put this on display? What would be a good place for it? That would be weird, Rosa! That would be weird. Oh my god. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink. I need a break. Sometimes I do Rosa Artem cards and they're very like normal, right? And then sometimes I do Rosa anyone else cards and all of her kinks come out and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. As she looks around for a good place, she finds a document bag and Luke's old stuff that he moved over. Inside, she finds a form listing liberal arts and science classes at Stella's high school with Luke Pierce written in the name column. Artem is too vanilla. It's his greatest weakness, except for TCN Artem. Yes. He really did move everything here, but why did he bring this form? To gather data and better understand students' intentions after they enroll, Stella's high school would send out an interest form to their parents. What's strange is that Luke only wrote his name on the form. He didn't check any classes. The form itself is completely useless, but he still put it in a document bag. He didn't even turn it in, and he kept it safe all this time. Why? Yeah, that is weird. Just as she's about to ask, she hears the sudden buzz of electricity, and all of the lights in the room go out. Luke! Faced with the sudden change of being plunged into darkness, she calls out Luke's name without thinking.
나 여기 있어.
I'm here. Luke notices that she's somewhat panicked and comes over right away. He seems to have kicked something on his way over, but he pays it no mind. Because the power went out, the air conditioner has also stopped blowing. The room slowly grows stuffy.
가서 창문 좀 열고 올게.
I'll open a window. She turns on a flashlight to illuminate Luke's path forward as she searches for news on the power outage. Looks like the thunderstorm yesterday made some power lines short circuit. Even though the local government turned on the backup power supply, it can't accommodate for peak electricity usage at night.
어쩐지 아까 창밖이 깜깜하더라니.
I just looked outside the window and everything was dark.
향초가 도착해서 다행이야.
It's good that the scented candles arrived. She's unsure how long the power outage will last. Rather than relying on the flashlights on her phone, the candle is clearly more dependable. Luke lights a candle and the flames waver slightly in the night breeze. It isn't very bright, but it allows her to barely make out his face.
금방 복구되겠지.
The power will come back soon. You gotta go. Okay, thank you for coming in, and I hope that you enjoyed your first look at Tears of Themis. Bye-bye. Imagine being in the timeline when we never discovered TCN Artem. Have a good day. Right? Oh my gosh. TC and Artem. We also had Korean Luke to discover still. Wow. The warm yellow light blurs the outline of his face, reminding her of being in the tent with him last night. This definitely isn't the first time she's seen this image. An impulse she finds impossible to describe rises up in her heart. At this moment, she wants nothing more than to locate the source of all of this. Luke, have we had a power outage before? That was cute. That was really cute. Why was that so cute? I don't know. I don't know why that was so cute, but it was.
네가 언제쯤 기억해내려나 했는데.
I was wondering how long it would take you to remember. The candle wax gradually melts, filling the room with the scent of youthful memories. It smells of flowers and fruit, and the details slowly come into focus. Oh! Flashback. Oh my gosh! Rosa with short hair! Rosa with short hair! Sorry. This is a Themis stream. If you're not gonna freak out about Rosa, then what are you even doing? On the night that the power went out, her parents were working overtime. Rosa and Luke were the only ones home. She couldn't help feeling uneasy sitting in her dark room alone, so she went to Luke's room looking for him.
무슨 일이야?
Wow, baby Rosa and baby Luke. The hidden bonus of Luke cards, right? Cute baby Rosa. What's wrong? He has a battery-powered lamp on his desk that is currently shining brightly. There's nothing to do while the power's out. I'm kind of bored. What are you doing? It's pitch black and you want to rely on a little light bulb? No one would blame her for being so surprised. As she gets closer, she realizes Luke is tinkering with circuits on his desk. He has a voltage meter, a current meter, and a small light bulb. It seems like he's quite prepared.
그냥 책에서 꼬마 전구의 전압전류 특성 곡선에 관한 내용을 봤거든. 재밌을 것 같아서 직접 만들어 보려고 했는데.
I was just reading up on current voltage characteristic curves of light bulbs in this book. I thought it sounded pretty interesting and wanted to try to make one myself.
절반쯤 조립했을 때 정전될 줄은 몰랐어.
But I didn't know that the power would go out while I was putting it together. Why am I not surprised? The way Luke speaks so naturally makes it seem like this is nothing to get surprised over, so she shifts her gaze somewhere else. That liberal arts and science class form, why didn't you turn it in yet? I remember the deadline was yesterday. Luke, did you cause the power outage? That was my thought. That was also my thought. The form is empty other than the name. Clearly, its owner wasn't concerned with the deadline.
말투가 꼭 담임 선생님 같네.
Your tone sounds just like our homeroom teacher. Luke smirks and continues assembling the circuit. I didn't think the top student in our grade would struggle so much with multiple choice questions.
그러게.
That's right. He stops what he's doing for a moment and turns to look at her, his eyes completely earnest.
그럼 저 좀 가르쳐 주실래요? 선생님?
So do you want to teach me? Teacher? Yeah, I mean, he called her teacher. Wow, okay. Please don't do that. I don't like this. I don't like this. As a teacher, I don't like this. Maybe you can start by telling me what you put for this question. That was a cute teacher. It was cute, but also no. Looks like you just want the answers, Luke. To fully embrace her role as Luke's teacher, she turns his chair to face her. Finally, you feel what I mean? For all the Zayn moments. When he calls MC Doctor. Yeah. Is it weirder that he's also a doctor? I don't know. Is that like double weird? I chose liberal arts. After all, I want to study.
어쨌든 선생님이 가고 싶은 과는 법학과니까요.
Well, you want to study the law. Luke instinctively finishes her sentence and she's told him her goal so many times before.
선생님은 항상 꿈이 뭔지, 뭘 원하는지 자기 생각을 잘 알고 있잖아요. 그게 너무 부러워요.
You always know exactly what you want and exactly what your dreams are and what you want. Um, it makes me really jealous.
그냥 문과 고를까? 그럼
Should I
계속 같은
choose?
반일 수 있거든요.
Should I choose the liberal arts too? Then we could be in the same class. Just as long as you've thought about it, you can do whatever you want. Just as Zane is her PCPBS. Okay.
너무 대충 가르쳐 주는 거 아니야?
Your teaching style is way too arbitrary, isn't it? Whatever. It's because I have faith in you, okay? She is okay. It makes me feel better that she's just like not even trying with the teacher role, so it's okay. It doesn't feel like roleplay. Whether it's your life up until now or your future that's about to start, I have faith you'll get through it with no problem. She intentionally bends down to intensify her tone. It isn't until she looks into Luke's eyes that she realizes she's a little too close. Ahem. Anyway. She moves to pull back, but Luke holds on to her arm. He doesn't say anything, but his action communicates a signal. He doesn't want any distance between the two of them. For some reason, she stops in her tracks. However, he still doesn't move his hand. Anyway, you have to look in your heart to see what you really want.
내가 진짜 뭘 원하는지 보라고?
To see what I really
그건
want?
어떻게 하는 건데?
How do I do that? She just told you! Look in your heart! Jesus Christ. Were you not paying attention? No wonder you're failing. I'm just kidding. I think you'll know it when you see it. Of course, Luke would just pick whatever she wants. Luke looks at her. I want to major in being your puppy. Oh my god. Luke looks at her. He's about to say something when the battery-powered lamp on his desk goes out without warning. The room is suddenly plunged into darkness. Oh wow, they really plunged us into darkness. Thankfully, enough moonlight is shining through the window, so they're not completely deprived of their sight. The scolding teacher comes out. Even so, she is still somewhat flustered. She takes a step back and holds onto the edge of the desk to steady herself, but she accidentally presses something on the table.
조심해.
Careful. Considering their dark surroundings, her movement was quite large. After Luke reminds her to be careful, he reaches out to lead her back to him. All of this happens practically instantly, and she finally realizes what she just pressed. I know that it couldn't be that, but my brain still went there, right? I read way too much BL. It was the switch on the circuit that Luke was putting together. The small bulb emits a luminous light. So close to one another, it's enough for them to clearly see everything in each other's eyes. That surprise as her heart fluttered was something that she didn't understand, or perhaps misunderstood at the time. Oh, this is pretty. The aroma grows more intense as the melted candle wax accumulates in the mouth of the glass jar. The tension of the liquid makes it look like it's contained in a net, wobbling within its confines. One thing I really like about Tears of Themis is definitely the art that we get from this game. It's really beautiful. Like, I feel like we get so many pretty arts like this, right? Yeah, it's very pretty. They really, I don't know who's working on their team for this, but they put in all the effort. And I played Mystic Messenger, and one thing about that game is that the art there, it's a bit inconsistent, to be honest. So you're really drawn in for the crazy ass plot more than anything else. And I do enjoy Love in Deep Space, but Love in Deep Space has like the character models, and I feel like at times they're lacking somewhat in expressiveness. Like they have very similar, maybe it's just because I play the one autistic character. Actually, that might just be a Zane issue, maybe. But I don't know, it doesn't feel like they have it. I think because they're locked into the certain models and backgrounds, and they don't have as much like variety. You don't get yeah, they have the same animations and stuff like that get kind of repeated, so you don't get the variety of expressions and backgrounds and stuff that you can get in just, you know, plain 2D art. So there's a lot to be said that's pretty good about like this visual novel style, right? The visual novel style has a lot of its own benefits. YZZ went with a comic book style cutscene so they can do more expressive shots. Exactly. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly the same kind of thing. I think you're right, because you can get like that variety, and you can get more expressions, and sometimes just because, you know, they come, like, you don't see the character as frequently. You're still looking at a background a lot of the time. But when you do get a moment like this, it's so breathtaking. It's so beautiful, right? And I really, really like that about playing Tears of the Abyss. It's even more like her heart, which is suddenly heavy with new insights from past memories, pulling all secrets down to the bottom amidst the wavering light.
네 말이 맞았어.
You're right.
내가 진짜로 원하는 걸 봤을 때 바로 알았거든.
When I found what I really wanted, I understood right away.
세상이 어둠에 잠겼다가 다시 밝아진 그 순간 나한테는 너만 보였어.
When the world went dark and then was illuminated again, the only thing I saw was you. Oh my god! What a good line! What a good line! They can still do cool animations for combat and drama, but for slower moments, you really get a close-up. Yeah! And you get like a look at their eyes and...
세상이 어둠에 잠겼다가 다시 밝아진 그 순간 나한테는 너만 보였어.
That was such a well-delivered line too. Okay.
무슨 예언이라도 하는 것처럼 마음의 소리가 들리더라.
Like a sign, my heart was telling me,
눈앞에 어떤 선택지가 있든 난 널, 네가 있는 미래만 선택할 거라고.
no matter what the choice, I will always choose you. I only want a future with you. Wow. Luke's hand holding the handle shifts slightly and the transparent liquid wax overflows, slowly dripping down the wall of the glass jar.
드디어 깨달았어. 마음 한구석의 막막함과 공허함이 다 너 때문이었던 거야.
My god. I'm distracted by his line delivery. So it makes me like have a hard time with the words.
드디어 깨달았어. 마음 한구석의 막막함과 공허함이 다 너 때문이었던 거야.
Ah. Okay. I finally realized that the reason that my heart felt so tight, or I'm not sure if that's the right word, but like, you know, issues, was you.
단순히 가족이 되고 싶은 게 아니야. 묵묵히 돌아서서 가족이라는 자리에 있고 싶지도 않아.
I don't want to just be your family member. I don't want to just watch over you anymore.
내가 원하는 건 한 걸음 더 나아가는 거야. 세상이 쥐죽은 듯이 조용하든 시끄럽게 끓어오르든 상관없이
I want something a step further.
나만 봐줬으면 좋겠어.
I want you to only look at me, or I want you to see only me. Wow, this is really good. I don't know why.
내가 원하는 건 한 걸음 더 나아가는 거야. 세상이 쥐죽은 듯이 조용하든 시끄럽게 끓어오르든 상관없이 네가 나만 봐줬으면 좋겠어.
He says quite a bit more in Korean here. I want something that's a step further than that, a step beyond that. Whether the world is in chaos or at peace, whether it's loud or quiet, it doesn't matter. I hope that you will only see me. Okay, but I'm gonna also need you to be cool because Himara started The flickering candlelight reflects in his eyes, needlessly adding a luminosity that captivates her very soul. What? Okay, we're back to fluffy sentences. They gave him the good writing and then they were like, okay, back to the fluff. Luke. He confesses the passionate feelings of his younger self, yet she can only respond by whispering his name. She will spend the rest of her life looking back on that night to the young man who occupied her entire field of vision.
그때 네가 나랑 같은 생각인지 몰라서 감히 가까이 다가가진 못했지만 말이야.
I didn't know that you felt the same back then, so I didn't dare get too close.
지금 생각해보면 그 감정은 어두운 밤에 양초를 본 것 같은 느낌이었어.
When I think back about it, the feeling is like seeing a candle on a dark night.
빛을 갈망해서 손을 뻗지만 너무 뜨거워서 함께하는 사람이 될까 걱정하는.
I reached out because I longed for the light, but because it was so hot, I worried that I might burn the person beside me. That doesn't make sense. This is a pretty awful analogy, but it's okay. He was doing so well until then. As Luke says this, she suddenly recalls how she couldn't find a single picture of the two of them in high school together. Rosa, you didn't realize that was a love confession. That's why you didn't take any pictures with me later on. We don't have any real pictures together from when we were in high school.
맞아.
That's right.
그때도 너랑 사진 찍는 게 부끄러워서 네가 자는 틈에 몰래 한 장 찍은 게 다였지.
I was too embarrassed to take pictures with you back then. I could only take one with you secretly while you were sleeping. Ah. Maybe he was too afraid that in the pictures with her, he would like look way too obviously in love with her, and he didn't want her to see that. That's actually really cute. That's actually completely reasonable. That actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because his expression would probably have shown in the pictures. Oh, they're dumb. The melted candle wax drips lower and lower until it collects at the bottom of the jar, like rainwater on the eaves of a building after a storm, waiting to trickle down further downward. It's cute and exactly his brand of pathetic. Yes. Luke, you're such a dummy. Oh, see, she said it. Her bluntness leaves Luke astonished for a moment, and the next second, her arms wrap around his neck. He's holding a candle. This is dangerous, Rosa. Don't jump at him. And then their brand new house was set on fire, guys. And that's the end of the story. They had to look for a new house. This is so silly. I can't believe I'm about to read the sentence. The candle you bought is made of all natural wax, meaning it has a low melting point. As long as we're careful, it's not going to burn anyone. It's okay, Luke Wallington's with the firefighter. He knows a guy. Oh my goodness. Rosa, the candle is on fire. I can't breathe. You guys. Rosa, please. Yeah. Rosa, please. This whole card has been Rosa, please. I'm trying really hard to continue. This must be agonizing for anyone watching me, but I can't. Yeah, the fire would still be hot even if it's... I know! The fire is... Luke, teach her about wax already. Oh, I mean... Maybe she'll... There is wax play. Oh gosh. Okay. The melted wax suspended at the bottom of the jar finally drips down due to her exaggerated movement. It splashes on Luke's forearm with a faint fragrance and leaves a trail similar to a raindrop or perhaps some other kind of imprint. Did you get burned?
아니,
I enjoyed it. I'm sorry. I mean, what? The transparent splash of wax adorns Luke's arm, his faint red skin acting as a backdrop. It looks almost like a seal in some type of strange contract. Why is this card so full of... Okay.
갑자기 든 생각인데 나 진짜 바보 같아.
I also thought the same thing. I really was stupid. Yes, you were. You still are. You're all stupid. All of you are stupid. Stupid in love, so it's okay. It was like a riddle with a double meaning. She knows Luke isn't only talking about this one thing. The real story is hidden behind a curtain, concealed by smoke and mirrors, a veritable jigsaw puzzle missing its most important piece. What? Wow, your skin looks really attractive with wax period. And then they discovered a new kink. That night, wow. Like some sort of theatrical effect, she hears a beeping sound as soon as Luke finishes speaking. The air conditioner automatically turns back on. The power is back. Thankfully, the lights in the room are dim, so it isn't too jarring for her. A gust of wind blows in, and a rustling sound immediately attracts her attention. It's that picture. Most of the details are fuzzy in the dark, but she is certain that she spots the picture from the daytime. Oh my gosh, I was like, what is this? What is this sentence? It's daytime. It's supposed to be one word. Lying silently next to the toy handcuffs. Another gust of wind flips the picture over, revealing writing on the back. A BDSM contract, right? Luke is 100% an M. For sure he is. That's why Kathy likes him so much. Kathy is Luke. The handwriting on the back of the picture triggers her curiosity, but history repeats itself as Luke quickly grabs the picture. As she gazes at the toy handcuffs next to her and recalls the scene on the stairs earlier today, an idea suddenly pops into her head. Luke, what's on the back of that picture? Why can't you show it to me? Before everything occurs, she decides at least to try to negotiate sensibly.
중요한 건 아니야.
It's nothing important. You say that every time, so why can't you show me if it isn't important? Luke always behaves strangely when it comes to that picture, and she can't help but begin to worry. She suddenly realizes he might have been trying to hide what's written on the back of the picture all along. From the struggle on the stairs to Luke pretending it went... to Luke hiding it when she asked where the picture was, paired with everything just now, she can't shake the feeling that the final key piece has something to do with it. Okay.
다 나름 이유가 있어서 그래.
I have a reason. Does that reason have anything to do with me? Caught.
어,
Oh, sorry. I cut him off. I'm sorry.
어,
It seems as if she stumped him with her question, and his brow furrows slightly. She uses this chance to snatch the toy handcuffs off the floor and, following Luke's example, cuffs his hand to the railing. Oh! Here it comes. Calling it now, he wrote, I think I love this girl. Also, I might be an M. Okay, I understand that she handcuffed him. But why did she also pull his shirt up? Just a moment of appreciation for everyone, okay? Also, why is this his belt? Yeah, why did she pull his shirt up? I don't know. I don't know. Also, the marbles! The goddamn marbles fell. I swear to God, what is with the marbles? This series. Why do you have a stripper pole in the middle of your house? I need to learn how to undo handcuffs again. This whole thing. Not the marbles. I've lost my marbles. Okay. Alright, let's continue. The dim light blankets everything in the room with a vague yellow hue, the hazy glow filling the air like a mist. The mist has invaded! Oh no. The crisp sound of collision mixes with the rustle of fabric. On this quiet night, her thoughts are shaken up along with the noise. Oh my God. Collision and rustling fabric. Yes, the mist is here to claim his shirt. That's why she's helping him get it off. Yes, he's choosing not to break the merchandise. She only touched him gently with her fingers, yet she feels Luke shudder slightly. Do you see him wiggling? I think she knocked him over and then handcuffed him. I think that's what she did.
너 장난치지 마.
Wow.
너 장난치지 마.
Wow. This VA is too good. You don't joke around. He struggles somewhat with the restraint on his hands. His low voice echoes like a thread that is being pulled tighter and tighter. One end is connected to Luke, powerless as he is in this moment, while the other is connected to the childish thoughts in the depths of his heart. What? Little by little, the thread is strained tighter, bringing about a sense of impatience. I'm not joking. You inspired me to do this earlier today. The toy handcuffs won't be able to hold Luke for long, so every second is precious. As her fingers run over him, there is a distinct lack of warmth, but she is able to capture the contrasting tension and softness of his skin in painstaking detail. I've been dreaming about this since high school, right?
뭐 하려고?
What do you intend to do? He sounds like some dainty maiden. She smiles as she leans in closer to him. The key he considers his treasure is nestled between the contours of his muscles, waggling slightly as his chest violently rises and falls. The key trapped between his chesticles. Rosa, if you order him to hold that pose, you bet all your new marbles that he'll pay. Wow. This feels wrong, guys. Oh, God. Why don't you guess? Oh, no. What do I look like I'm going to do next? Her hand hovers in the air before she touches him. He stares at her intently, his eyes so dark that she finds it impossible to gauge how he might react. If you wanted to watch Luke squirm. Yes, the key between his huge testicles. Without another word, she presses with some force behind her fingertips.
간지러워.
That tickles. Oh my God. When her fingers meet his skin, his muscles tense in response.
그만해.
Sporadic words are mixed into his breathing, tightening the thread to its absolute limit. I think she's touching his abs. Okay. She pulls on the key, forcing him to raise his head slightly and look up at her. Oh my God. Oh my God. What are they doing? This is a lot kinkier than Artem's card. This is a lot kinkier than Artem's card. The BL bottom whimper. Yeah, right? You know he does BL. Because you can picture this
그만해.
in the BL. For sure. I want to see that picture, okay? If you refuse, then I have no choice. She tries to keep her voice as low as possible, but she seems to forget that anything she says in this type of situation will inherently be tinged with ambiguity. What does that mean? That's a stupid sentence. They're fulfilling like every Luke appreciator's 3 years of fantasy tugging on that key like a leash. They did. They finally did it. I have no choice but to resort to other methods to make you hand it over. Oh, that was a cute laugh. He moves his arm with some force, pulling on the link between the cuffs and knocking against the railing again.
수단?
Methods? What are you intending? Even though he is beginning to blush, he still maintains an adorable sense of naivete in the face of her stubbornness. He's into it. It's a delighted suppressed laugh. Yeah, now he's like using his teasing voice. He's definitely into it. Seeing him like this, her heart inadvertently begins to beat faster. It even feels like the room temperature has risen a few degrees. That's not something you should say when you're trapped. Have you thought it over?
생각해야 할 사람은 너야.
The one who needs to think it over is you. Even though Luke is the one who is trapped, the air surrounding him makes him look like a hunter ready to strike. She can't help hesitating. Yeah, you want to hear it again?
생각해야 할 사람은 너야.
His arm suddenly tenses. With his handcuffs still caught on the railing, the things placed on the shelf slide to the edge. A box of things on the shelf falls to the floor. However, before she can react, Luke grabs her errant hand. It seems as if it was extremely easy for him to break away. Only the faint sound of him panting reminds her of his previous predicament. Stop, don't ruin the mood. Make Luke back.
설마 이 정도로 날 가둘 수 있다고 생각한 건 아니지?
You didn't really think you could trap me like that, did you? Okay, I like that this is the expression they have, but the VA was like, oh, no. He's on top of her right now, so this is the voice I'm using.
설마 이 정도로 날 가둘 수 있다고 생각한 건 아니지?
Good choice, VA. Good choice. Of course not. She replies in a quiet grumble. She knew she couldn't cuff him for long, but she didn't think he'd escape so quickly.
처음엔 그냥 뭘 하려나 궁금해서 지켜봤는데 지금 보니까 역시 그냥 놔두면 안 되겠어.
Oh my god. He keeps that voice real low. Wow. At first, I just wanted to see what you do, but it looks like I can't just let you mess around. Luke has seemingly calmed down, but the desire in his gaze has only increased, making it clear that the turbulent emotions in his heart still haven't dissipated.
그 사진 뒤에 뭐가 적혀 있는지 진짜 궁금해?
Do you really want to know what's written on the back of that picture? Yes. In truth, she was willing to let the situation with the picture off, but she finds it impossible to calm down after seeing Luke's reaction. But if you really don't want me to know, I can wait. I'll wait until you're ready to tell me.
괜찮아.
It's okay.
사실 일부러 숨기려던 건 아니야.
Actually, I wasn't deliberately hiding it from you. He smiles with resignation as his fingertips gently glide over her wrist, bringing a comforting sensation.
내가 왜 특수요원이 된 건지 기억나?
Do you remember why I became an agent? I do. She thought he was going to hand the photo to her, but he unexpectedly brings up another matter altogether. She's somewhat puzzled, but she nods. She'd asked Luke why he became an agent not long after the two of them reunited. You said it was because of your hero complex and that time we got lost when you were little.
맞아.
That's right.
근데 그게 다는 아니야.
But that wasn't everything. Ooh! Luke looks at the toy handcuffs nearby before shifting his gaze back to her, his voice growing soft.
사실 모든 건
Actually,
내가 저걸 갖게 된 순간부터 시작됐어.
everything began when I got those handcuffs.
아까 사진을 안 보여주는 이유가 너랑 관련 있냐고 물어봤잖아. 그 대답은 늘 정해져 있었어.
You asked me the reason why I didn't show you the picture that had something to do with you. I've actually always had the answer.
다만 그때 더 중요한 걸 깨달았기 때문에 바로 말을 안 했던 것뿐이지.
I just realized something more important back then, so I couldn't tell you right away.
내 말은 지나온 시간이든 앞으로 펼쳐질 미래든 내 모든 이유랑 이야기는 다 너랑 관련이 있다는 거야.
Oh. I also became an agent so I'd have more access to handcuffs. Whether it's my life or far future, all of my reasons, all of my stories, they all have something to do with you. His distant answer acts as a response to her previous question, each word falling one after another. It's as if they are dripped into her blood, only to be swallowed up by a swell of emotions. What?
내 삶을 어둠이라고 한다면 넌 그 안에서 절대 꺼지지 않는 빛이나 다름없어.
Even if everything in my life is dark, you're the one light that will never go out. Oh, that's a good line. He pulls out the picture and places it right in front of her eyes. Sure enough, there really are a few sentences printed in Luke's handwriting on the back. The years passed by, the storms died down, The world went its way. I suffer to think that it was your heart which no longer perceived me. She feels strange as she reads the words on the picture, and her heart grows even more confused.
시는 완성 전이었어. 왜냐면 그때 난 내가 본 사람이 나머지 절반을 스스로 찾아주길 바랐거든.
I didn't finish this poem. That's because I hoped the person who saw it would find the second half by herself. Oh god, high school boys' poetry. Spare me, please. He pauses, dazed. She feels as if she can see that young boy watching her from behind, the faint light on the silent night. Yeah, he wrote angsty Tumblr poetry. All of the light seems to grow dim in an instant, as if everything, including time itself, is spinning. It's like Luke from the past has traveled through time and is now standing before her.
이렇게도 그대를 사랑하는데 그대를 보지 못한다면 모든 걸 잃은 것과 다름없다.
I'm not going to translate the poem in Korean. I do think it probably sounds a little bit like more poetic, but I'll just read the English. I loved you in my absence of visage and my emptiness of joy.
그대를 사랑한다. 어떤 모습으로 바뀐다 한들 마음은 변치 않을 것이다.
I loved you, changing in every way, faithful to you. What? I do not think that that's okay. That young boy better not be watching right now. This is an 18+ stream. It's only until now that the puzzle is complete. He hadn't forgotten to take the picture with him. On the contrary, he deliberately put it in the album for her to find. It's just a shame this cryptic confession took so long to finally arrive at its destination. That was how he chose to confess? Yeah, Luke was an idiot. Hello, Soviet ball. Erica, who's Erica? But, wow, Luke.
사실 이런 식으로 마음을 알아주길 바란 건 아니었어.
I didn't want to use this approach to help you truly understand my feelings.
그냥 이 사진으로 날 좀 더 기억해줬으면 하는 마음이었지.
I just wanted you to remember me a little bit with this photo.
근데 지금 보니까 방법이 너무 유치해 보여서 너한테 들키고 싶지 않았던 거야.
But it seems very childish, so I never wanted you to find out. Yeah, I can see why. So he's embarrassed, rightfully so. At least this is still better than telling her he loves her after showing her the. I know he's doing much better than he was a year or two ago. But yeah. Luke scratches his head awkwardly. Redness creeps over his face, making his embarrassment apparent. It's not childish at all. I think it's perfect. No, it's very childish. Rosa, please. But instead of finding the second half by myself, I'd rather hear it from you. So, she moves closer, attempting to use the distance to better communicate the fluctuating emotions she's feeling. A breeze blows in from the open window, twistling Luke's hair. Don't leave for that long again. Don't give me a chance to forget you, and don't create any more memories with me that I don't know about.
우리 계단에 같이 채워야 할 공간도 많은데. 알겠어.
There's still an entire wall in our staircase that needs to be filled, so I understand.
그럼
Then,
바로 새로운 추억을 만들어 볼까?
should we make our next new memory? Don't take a picture of this one, Luke.
그럼 바로 새로운 추억을 만들어 볼까?
If this had a like option, I would like it. Don't make any more memories of me that I don't know about. Yeah, that was a good line. Luke doesn't wait for her answer. He lets go of the picture, wraps his arms around her shoulder, and kisses her. The picture gently floats on the night breeze, spinning a few times in the air before landing softly on the floor. The light illuminating the young boy's face shines from the sunset years ago, the stars tonight, and the daybreak on the path ahead. Wow. So he just threw that picture and then they got to banging. Okay. Okay. So that was Luke. I'll explore that card a little bit more on my own later. But yeah, that was fun. That was Luke. Not what I expected. Actually, you know, that was a really good card, especially compared to last year's. So I'm very pleased I got all their cards. Eventually, I will do the rest.